Hey, I'm Bob Mendonza. My wife and I and our two kids moved to Kenya in 2008, and we founded a children's home, opened our doors in January 2011, and now we have 33 children, and our vision is to eventually have 100 kids there. We felt called by God to raise these children in such a way that they are not just being rescued, but they're being given leadership skills, training, so that they can go and do likewise. Right now there are 2.4 million orphans in Kenya alone and 26 million in sub-Saharan Africa. So we feel like our calling is not just to rescue 100 children, but to raise an army of like-minded adults eventually that can do the same kind of work, so that eventually so many more kids get helped. So part of that process is good education for the children, and right now where our children's home is located in a rural setting in the Great Rift Valley, there really isn't a good school that can provide proper academics for our children in order to achieve the goals we have in mind for them. A lot of them we'd like to see go to school in the U.S. eventually for college and get training and then come back and start similar projects. So what we'd like to see happen is a school would be built there. It would not only allow us to send our children there and give them proper schooling, but would give the students in the surrounding area, including those in the local internally displaced people's camp and in the local trucking town, a place where they can send their kids and get a decent education. So we've been praying and believing that God was going to give us a piece of land for that for quite some time as a starting point. We already have identified potentially a couple that may help us to get that school built and maybe potentially oversee that project, but we wanted to get a piece of land secured near our children's home, and so that piece of land is very important to us, and we have found a 5-acre piece of land nearby that is running roughly $25,000, which is a reasonable price in Kenya. Second, we are in the process of course, bringing in children into our children's home, and we use a spring water system that brings water from about 5 miles away up in the mountains to provide our daily water needs. It does give us enough water right now, but as we add more children, we're going to need to continue to have a sustainable water source. One of the ways we can do that is by trapping and using our rainwater. And so the roof on our building is fairly large, and we have already added a rainwater catchment system that runs pipes underground, and we need to get a large 100,000 liter tank built to trap that water, followed by a pump system to pump it up to an elevated tank that will feed our kitchen and especially allow us to use that clean water for the kitchen use for cooking and washing dishes and things like that, preparing food. So that project to build the tank and to build the elevated tank system for the children's home is roughly around $20,000 for materials and labor. So those two projects are really important things that we feel like are needed to allow us to move forward in the continued care of these children for the glory of God. So thank you for your help.